Hi, this is Robin with Weight Loss Apocalypse. This is a short um, compilation of little clips from a session with a client I've been working with for well over a year now. She came to me abusing the HCG protocol. She had gained a significant amount of weight after losing a huge amount of weight. Anyway, so we've actually been working together on eating to hunger, and we've gone through the protocol a few times together and working on the binge eating issues that she's actually been struggling with since she was a child. Along with that, we've been working on her kind of like narcissism, victim of narcissism issues. She's also had perpetual codependency problems and being the victim and the rescuer of her own dad. Anyway, so long story short, she just finished her last round of HCG through this process, and in this in what you're about to see, it's us discussing the HCG protocol, this new approach to it, my updated way to think about it medically, or at least hormonally, and really just having a good time talking about the HCG protocol. So if you want to see the entire session, you're going to have to join Patreon. It's a private group. You're basically donating $5 a month to see all of my new complete videos with sessions with clients. If you would like me to help you through the process, you're going to need to go to my website, which is linked below. Fill in the paperwork, the online request form, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So, all right, enjoy this session on the HCG protocol. When they get to this point where all of a sudden now real food and varieties of food and the carbohydrates are reintroduced, the fear of regain creates a stop on that abundance. I can't eat that. The fear of regain can create, I can't eat this, right? Some people have a different response, which is, I deserve that food. You know, they'll have the momentary stop, but then they're going to go, but I feel deprived. They go into victim positionality, right? Victim role. But I worked my ass off. I deserve, and I lost more weight than I expected, so I think I'm okay regaining some weight, and they get all excited, right? So I'm going to eat the carrot cake. I'm super freaking excited, and the food becomes, woohoo, smorgasbord, smorgasbord. Yep. Right? That scene from Charlotte's Web, which I love so much. If a doctor's going to do this properly, do your blood work after they recover from their eating issues, when they're eating the way they're going to eat forever. That's when you do the blood work. Then you put them on this very low calorie protocol. You go through the phases of, reintroduction of fats, and then now you're in this part where we're going to reintroduce the starches and everything else. Once your body is acclimated to that and it's got enough stability, then you redo the blood work. Adrenals, thyroid, ovaries if they're still functioning, liver, pancreas, metabolic functions.
That would be so interesting.
Right? Well, now it's relevant information because you're looking at this person, same exact food environment, same exact eating environment. What did the protocol actually do? The other thing would be to test everything before your mental recovery. Like, I would have loved to have seen your adrenals and your thyroid and your stress panel, basically, before we recovered. To see what did changing your beliefs and do to your stress response. We know your symptoms were very different, like relaxed, far less obsessive compulsiveness, if any at all. You're not as perfectionistic. It doesn't mean you don't have demands and want things done a certain way, but you're more lenient if they're not. So the perfectionism isn't necessarily the same. You're probably more forgiving, not just of yourself. Like if you set out to do something, it doesn't happen, you're okay with it. Again, that's that flexibility, less perfectionism. The all nothing stuff, gone. That's because you're no longer
Yeah.
overreaching, expecting something so god awful high that you end up feeling paralyzed and just going into screw the whole thing. You know, where if I can't do yoga 5 days a week, I might as well do it none.
Yeah.
That should be gone now. Those are all symptoms.
Yep.
It's like, here's the bigger view of how I think this protocol needs to be approached medically. Like, you
Yeah.
can't teach someone and expect the endocrine system to change if it requires that you permanently restrict sugar, starches, dairy, nuts. You always do a steak day, that you constantly have to be monitoring your weight, adjusting your food. That means the protocol didn't work. It didn't work. You shouldn't have to do an hour of exercise to keep the weight loss. If it worked, your body should be easily maintained. Clearly, that's assuming you are no longer easily maintaining with super low carb, super high binge, super low carb, super high binge, equilibrium. That's insanity.
I was thinking, it just really hit me how much I've stressed my body over the years.
And are you surprised you have, rheumatoid arthritis?
Right. Really, I'm surprised I'm alive, because that's a lot of stress for a body.
I know. But the human body's evolved for millions of years to be able to handle this. Clearly, if it couldn't, you would have probably had a heart attack. And many people who struggle with eating disorders end up with heart problems.
Right.
The longer you struggle, the short burst eating disorders that are super terrible like mine end in suicide.
Right.
Very high rate of suicide with at least teenage and adolescent anorexia for sure. But so we're now going into the real world, and have you even weighed yourself? Do you have any numbers around the actual scale?
Well, I weighed myself after the protocol, the very low calorie diet. I weighed myself.
And I'm pretty sure, I remember I kind of said, you should be able to do it without giving a shit, without being, oh, that's right. And you were like a little bummed, but then you laughed at it like, that's funny.
Right. And I would guess I'm right around the same weight, maybe 5 pounds heavier, maybe.
Do you have a scale? Let's weigh and see. And let's see how you respond.
It's in the basement, and the baby's about to go to sleep on my lap.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I would go down there and weigh.
Well, you can tell too. I think it's obvious your the body's shape changes. Even if that's not our focus, the shape change is something you can tell and feel. A lot of times people have massive shape change. Again, those are the inches that Dr. Simeons wrote in pounds and inches. It's like the inches are significant in terms of the degree of fat loss, even if your weight doesn't necessarily reflect that, because you're not losing muscle or lean tissue at the same rate, right? So you may have had some correlation between, oh, I'm at that size again, this is about where I should weigh. And often I see that it's really kind of shocking for people when they go through this protocol to see that they're at that size, but their weight is much higher than they were anticipating. And it can be a real letdown because you want the validation. And so even though that wasn't our goal, we have been working on this for months. It's funny that you observe the whole letdown of that, like, oh no.
Yeah, it was higher than I expected it to be. And I think it's because of what you just said, like my clothes size doesn't reflect what I thought my weight was.
Yeah, and you wanted validation of that. So the need for that validation is where the letdown came from. Like, what? I'm not as successful? Is this about you? Or is this about the body, right? Is the body's performance, or should you really be let down at how the body has performed for you?
Right.
I know, and you had said, I immediately kind of laughed at it, went, oh, there that is again. Funny. And you just didn't give it any power. You're like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
Well, yeah, and you're happy with that. You've got to be happy with that, because if you are, guess who's free? Guess who doesn't have to do anything? Guess who gets to go back into reality?
Oh my gosh, to not do an apple day or a steak day or a macadamia nut day or whatever those days are.
Oh, the magnet day, that's not on Simeon's protocol.
No, it's not. It's one of those.
That's the internet stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing that helped me was when you said, when I went into phase 2, was you said, even if you feel bloated, if you're hungry, you have to eat. You have to promise me you're going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did recognize that there were days I felt bloated or do feel bloated, and then just paying attention to the hunger, and it's just the body doing what it's going to do.
Yeah, it's important that you separate what's happening physically with the body from your task, which is only to respond to hunger. That's your task. That's all you had to do, right?
Yep.
Respond to hunger. Eat when you're hungry. So whether or not you're bloated has nothing to do with your hunger. Just eat if you're truly physically feeling that sensation of hunger, and it's not just desire and boredom and I'm pissy and for me, my life is really bad right now and Robin doesn't even get it. Right? Whatever that is, you don't eat. But if it's actual physical on the hunger scale, you're getting to a 3, 2.5, 3, 3.5, you should eat even if you're bloated. Because your bloat has nothing to do with hormones relative to your hunger at the moment. You could be bloated and have low blood sugar.
Right.
So, but from years of chronic exercise or dieting, people coordinate, like, if I'm bloated, I can't eat.
Right.
Do you hear how messed up that is?
Yeah, completely messed up.
Why wouldn't you eat? You're hungry. That's a physiological, hormonal response that's saying this is time. Whether or not you feel bloated doesn't matter. Has nothing to do with low blood sugar.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And just being so much more relaxed about everything.
Don't you agree that's part of also where this round of the protocol, it's like you gave it a relaxed environment to actually get its job done. Being in stress and anxiety in the brain is actually affecting these organs that we're trying to fix, that we're trying to aid in recovery. So when people do this protocol and they're doing it for that narcissistic, self-righteous purpose of feeling better about their body, right? It's about me. I want to feel better about looking good at the beach. The stress and anxiety around being deprived on this protocol, that is so inflammatory, and being pissed off you don't lose the weight you felt deserved because you followed the protocol, and I deserve to lose a pound a day. You laugh now. But someone listening to this is going, yeah! This son of a bitch diet sucks unless you're losing weight. Why would anybody do this unless they're losing weight? Never mind that it's a medical hormonal therapy that requires a very strict protocol. Maybe you shouldn't do the protocol. You should just go find a diet.
there's a lot of diets out there.
Well, and the sad thing is that the people doing this protocol who have their own degree of anorexia and orthorexia are the ones who are selling the protocol as a diet, as a way to feel better about yourself. This is about your self-esteem and really hoping that your body can meet the social dogmatic standards of thin supremacy so you can feel like you fit in. The protocol is about fitting in and feeling wanted. No, it's actually not. It's not. It's a medical hormonal therapy for your endocrine system. Totally different function than your self-esteem. Robin's such a bitch. I can't believe she just said that. I'm really uncomfortable with her.